Welcome back. I'm glad you could join me today. And today I have a special treat for you. I have a lovely lady that comes to us out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and she's going to do a fantastic painting for you. I'd like to introduce you today to Audrey Golden, a longtime friend, and I think you'll enjoy watching her as much as I have. So Audrey, we'll turn the show over to you, and I'll see you when the show's over.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Hi, and it's good to see you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some magic white on the canvas. I'm going to cover it 3/4 of the way and leave the bottom blank. And as I progress through the painting, you'll understand why I'm not putting magic white at the bottom of the canvas. While I'm doing this, you'll see the colors that I'll use in this painting go across your screen. When you paint with the magic white, make sure you cover your entire surface with an even coat. Come down and just stop about 3/4 of the way down. All right, I've got a good coat of the magic white on the canvas. And now we'll start working on the top part. I'm going to take a 2.5 inch brush, and I'm going to load it up with my alizarin crimson. Be careful, because we just want a light coat of pink through the middle, and you'll notice that the alizarin crimson, when it mixes with the magic white, produces a real pretty pink color. I'm doing a Florida sunrise. One day I woke up early in the morning, took my camera, and went out and watched the sunrise on the beach. So that's the type of picture I'll be painting for you. Just feather the pink on up into the sky. I think my horizon will be about there. I want a little bit of reflection, so I'm going to pull a little pink down in here. And you'll notice when you don't have the magic white on, it won't move for you. Cover this all up. When you do water, make sure, now this is the beginning of water. You don't know that yet, but it is. I know it is. Make sure your brush strokes are nice and straight. Now from there, I'm going to take some Indian yellow. I haven't washed my brush or cleaned my brush because I can blend this Indian yellow and alizarin crimson together and get some pretty colors in there. As I'm painting this, I have to decide where I'm going to have my sun come up. And I think it's going to come right about there. So I want to put a little bit more Indian yellow in that spot. Still have some pretty colors there. And from that, I just want to work a little pathway down. This will be the reflection of my sun. To use your imagination right now, but you'll see in a minute what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm going to take a clean 2.5 inch brush and then just do some very soft blending. Just let the Indian yellow fade away. Work it in here. Blend it out. All right, now I'm going to mix a pretty lavender color. I'm going to take some white, move it down here, take a little bit of alizarin crimson, some Prussian blue. Watch the Prussian blue because it's strong. Take too much, what happens? It turns blue. Okay, gotta go back and get a little bit more white. A little bit more crimson. Mix it together. Don't have to mix too much though. I'm going to get a little bit of Van Dyke in here too, just to soften the color. You can leave it marbleized. It doesn't have to be mixed to death. And then I'm going to take a 1-inch brush and start just working some coloring in here and through the sky. Because on that particular morning I saw a lot of gray, a lot of purple. And then in spots I even saw some gray. Just feather those clouds in. Now one thing you have to be careful about is that you have to be careful that your Indian yellow and your lavender work together. If you put too much Indian yellow around here or at the outside, you might you'll get a green color if you're not careful. So just keep it on the edges. All right, let's just wiggle a little old cloud in through here. And then again, I take my blending brush and soften everything. Using the magic white is such a treat because you can really blend. Get super, super colors. Right in through here, just pull the lavender, and you'll see all sorts of neat colors appear. We have some beautiful sunrises and beautiful sunsets in Florida. And the colors in the sky, sometimes you wouldn't even believe what you see. If you painted it, people would say, nah, that can't happen. But it does. All right, now I want to put a little bit of Van Dyke brown corners. And it's going to look more of a gray color. I just want to darken up my corners a little bit. Again, this Van Dyke will just work in and give it a real soft look. Swiggle. And as you're working on either a sunrise or a sunset or any sky, you can put lots of different colors in and just keep working them. To see the different effects you get. And again, just blend that and soften it. Don't be afraid to blend. And even if the lavender and the yellow go together, even if you get a little tint of green in there, it really doesn't hurt that much, because I've seen skies where that happens. And it looks very natural. All right, now let me show you where my horizon's going to go. I'm going to take my fan brush and put some of my lavender color on. And I want to, I've kind of left an opening here where I want to create my horizon. Just want to draw a soft line. When you do a horizon, make sure you have a straight line. Straight. Okay, I think I've got it. It's just going to tell me where I'm going. And then taking my fan brush, and I just want to make little lines across here. Now the pink from my sky is reflecting into my water, and when you do this, don't cover up the pink, because that's going to be the sky reflecting. Keep your lines straight. And on this day, the water was very calm. So there weren't many. There were some ripples, but there weren't very big waves. So I just want some real soft lines in there. Too, what you can do is you can just take your blending brush, just blend it, and you get all sorts of wonderful colors there. Same thing with the other side. I put my lines on with the tip of the brush. If you want to, you can go like that, but you have more control over doing it this way. And come in to where your reflection of the sun will be. Okay. That still looks pretty abstract, doesn't it? But you'll see as we go on what's going to happen. Okay. Some dark shadows in here. Just again, straight lines. Some, a little bit of Van Dyke, a little bit of blue, a little bit of crimson, all mixed together to give me a darker lavender color or purple, and just a little few lines across here. Again, I want my brightest part to be right in the middle. All right, now the next thing I have to do is I have to put my sun in. I take a little bit of white on my fan brush. I'm just going to decide, look at it, see where my sun should be. It's going to be right about here. Just place it on there and just, with the fan brush, pivot the fan brush. It'll pick up some of the orange, that's fine. Otherwise, if you just make a round white dot there, it looks like you pasted it on. So you do want it to blend in with your background. Now, if for some reason you get too much paint on there, just take your palette knife scrape a little bit of it off, because what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to take my brush and blend it. get spots, just move it. Just move the paint. Now, sometimes when I have students doing this, we don't always get a round circle. So what I tell them to do is just pull a cloud across it. And that way you don't have to worry about getting a round circle. Just break the edge of the sun up a little bit. Especially at sunrise, you won't see. The sun keeps popping out from under the clouds. Sunrise. And then we can put a little bit over here. I'm using the fan brush. A few little soft clouds over here. And just blend them in. Okay, now if you wanted to make this a sunset, I would just put more color into it. You could really get this to be a bright, pretty sky. But don't be afraid to try different colors in your skies, because you can't. You don't have to just stick to blue with white clouds. All right, now I've got my sun in there. I've got the beginning of some water. I'm going to take my knife, take some paint, white. I'm just going to start back here. Just get a little ridge of that paint on there. I'm going to use some magic white here. Just slide down the canvas. And as I come forward, my lines are going to get bigger. Slip and slide across. If you want to, if you don't like what you've done, or you don't, I just take a little fan brush and smooth out my edges, my water lines, or my reflection. Okay. There we go. So we've got some water, we've got the sun, and we've got the sky. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some magic black and my 1-inch brush. I'm going to start filling in down here. This is where I left the canvas dry. And if you wanted to, you could use your 2.5-inch brush, get it finished in a hurry, or just put this in. Now I happened to be sitting on a sand dune, so I want to get a little bit of height over here. Plus, what's going to happen when I get my shadows in there, is I tell people that the sand isn't black, it's white, but as the sun came up, the sand looked black because it was creating a silhouette. Just put this on. Cover the bottom. All right, I've covered it. And now, take my fan brush, and I want some of the color from the water in my magic white. Now, that was a clean fan brush, but what I'm taking is I'm taking some of the magic white from where my water was and actually just blending it right down into my sand. And you get a natural highlight from that. Go up a little bit higher because that paint is still wet. And that's where the sun would be shining on the sand. And it works down. Let's make that a little bit higher. Come on down. And now with my fan brush, just take the side of it and pull up some grass that was growing on the beach. On the other side. Whoops. Don't let it dribble. Just use the side of the brush. Okay. Oh, I'm going to put a little bit of color into this. Make a little path. And I'm just taking the lavender color that I used, just working down. And as I come forward, my path's going to get a little bit bigger and bigger. And you can play with this and you can get all sorts of shadows and highlights. You're actually down in this area working dark to light. So just a little bit of color here and there. You can get some little sand. You can make the sand actually move for you. All right, now we take the liner brush and dip it into the black. And on that particular sand dune that I was sitting on were sea oats. I think I'm going to put a little bit of paint thinner with this just to get it really thin. Just roll it around. And on this side, put some little thin lines in there, and sea oats have little tiny dots on them. They look like a piece of wheat. They're used to keep the water to keep the water from eroding the soil, the sand. So you're not allowed to pick them in Florida. And this one's going to go way up. You can do all sorts of things with these. Just be free. And go up into the air and then pull a few little dots down. You can put a few little pieces of grass here. And then also on that morning, there were some pelicans flying by. And how I do that is I just take my liner and I tell people to make a V. Just fill it in, let them fly by, or an M. There's one coming in for a landing. And then I have another one down here. All right. I'm going to clean my brush. And just a little lavender as a highlight. Some of these. Okay. And then continue with my lavender and sign my name. This is a very simple painting, and I know you'll enjoy doing it. The best part is when we put the black in. Hi. There we go.
Isn't she fantastic? I told you you'd love her. From all of us here, we'd like to wish you happy painting. God bless.